Hi friends, welcome on YourPedia, and you're watching the module on YourPedia for your upcoming exam of Assistant Environment Engineer in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And this topic is Life Cycle Assessment and LCA it is known as. And this Life Cycle Assessment is a component or part of your Environmental Impact Assessment. So what is life cycle? Life cycle of any product, service, process, anything. So entire life cycle from birth to death, cradle to grave, when it is raw material to it is disposed of, entire cycle. How much is the environment impact of a product? Let's say this is a pen. So before making a pen, suppose you have raw material was taken. So for raw material, if suppose you cut a tree, suppose there is a wood used in this, you cut a tree, so that is the environmental impact of that. And then you made a chemical for writing a pen, so chemical is there, so that also has environmental impact. Then you disposed it off, and then it became the solid waste. So entire process from birth to death of any product, what is the environmental impact? So what is the total carbon footprinting? That is called the life cycle assessment. So in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, what previous year questions were asked, I'll discuss with you that, and then I'll give you the content and a lot of questions for practice. So this is friends, your Assistant Environment Engineer for Andhra Pradesh, and this is the timeline. So we are expecting soon detail will come for your. This was for Telangana. Sorry, Telangana already this number of vacancies are advertised, and application was till 17th of July. You can fill the application, and September May tentative date of exam is in September, and YourPedia is going to complete this entire module by 15th of July itself, so nothing to worry. And this is the pattern of the exam. And on the other hand, Andhra Pradesh job calendar is there, in which they have mentioned that number of seats are going to come. For there it is mentioned Assistant Environment Engineer, 40 number of seats are coming there, and this is the pattern for Andhra Pradesh. So this is a paper, general studies paper, and then there is a technical paper. In the technical paper, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana has similar syllabus for both the states. So these are the 10 chapters, and I'm talking about presently the 10th chapter. In environmental impact assessment, there is a topic called life cycle assessment. It's an important topic from where exam certainly will come. Right. So this is life cycle assessment we are going to do now. So let me first tell you what are the questions which were asked previous year from this in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So this was the question, previous year question. Which of the following is ideally the least of relevant factor from life cycle analysis perspective? Toxic exposure to worker, yes. So if you are working somewhere, toxic exposure, whatever is related to environment is basically relevant. So toxic exposure is related to environment. Long-term environmental impact, yes, that is the definition of environmental impact basically. Proximity to raw material, yes, that is also true. When we say cost of pollution control, so pollution is related to somewhere LCA, but cost of that is a financial part. So cost of pollution will not be part of it, pollution will be part of it. So if you say pollution is a part of life cycle assessment, that is true, but not cost of pollution. Now, what is the primary purpose of life cycle assessment? LCA, primary purpose of that. So that is to analyze environmental impact. Yes. You see, elimination is very easy. So if you don't know the right answer, to measure profit, obviously not. To study, political effects, no. Raise product cost, no. Why you will raise it? So you can easily eliminate also of the choices. So you'll find that from LCA, not very difficult question is asked. So the level of the question is not very difficult. Easy question only is asked from LCA. And then this diagram was given of pencil manual, simple manual pencil. So the life cycle of pencil. So pencil, as I was explaining you cut a tree, then leads are made of graphite, whatever is in the pencil is manufactured. Trucker will haul the pencils, take to warehouse, wholesale dealer, then to retailer, customer buys, customer uses. Discarded pencils brought to transporter, eventually discarded, landfill, incineration, that is you burn it again. So this is tree planted, growth, tree harvested. Now see these statements. as per this diagram. You have to find the wrong statements. Which of the following are wrong statements, false statements? Pencil manufacture has no long-term ecological impact. So whenever you get extreme statement or extreme absolute statement, that normally is wrong. It has environmental impact. You can't say it is no long-term ecological impact. It has ecological impact. Raw materials are all locally available. Extreme statement. All means extreme statement. Absolute statements normally are wrong. They are not locally available. Sometimes you have to purchase it. Raw material is to be taken. Acrylonite do not belong in this LCA. Transportation cost obviously is a part of LCA because there is a carbon footprint. You are burning fuel to basically transport, so there is a carbon footprint involved. Customer has responsibility in managing waste from pencil usage. Yes. 4 is correct. Waste management is required. Yes. So these 2 are correct. These 3 are not correct. So 1, 2, 3 are not correct. So answer is 1, 2 and 3. So these were the 3 answers. Okay, now the statements and life cycle assessment considers environmental impact of product. Conclusion from this statement are: insight into environmental effect of product disposal. LCA focuses solely on production phase of product. So these are the 2 statements. Which statement are correct? Whenever there is an extreme statement, that is a wrong statement. So it focuses solely on production phase of product. That is a wrong statement. That is a wrong statement. It is not a correct statement. Okay, so friends, this is solely is obviously extreme statement, so this will be wrong. Solely is extreme statement. Environmental impact is taken care of. Now let's try to understand what is LCA. It is also called life cycle assessment or life cycle analysis. Both the terms are used, and it is to evaluate the environment impact of product, process or service throughout its life cycle. It can be a product, it can be a process, it can be a service. When I'm teaching you, I'm delivering this lecture to you, it is a service. Suppose you purchase a pen, that is a product, and process means you are doing some activity, that is a process. So there can be carbon footprinting or life cycle assessment of each of these. So from raw material means from cradle, from birth to death. Grave is death, final disposal. So whether manufacturing or transportation, so you have seen the image of one pencil, how pencil was made from wood and then used and manufactured and everything. So one product can have all these things, like from manufacturing to use and to disposal of, this entire process is covered. Transportation is part of that, recycling is part of that. So this covers everything. So overall environmental impact. So as I told you, when you are carrying something from one place to another, you are burning fuel also, that is a carbon footprint. So you understand that whether it is sustainable or not. Suppose I say that, okay, bring me pizza, I want to have a pizza, but you are going by plane or helicopter to bring a pizza. You understand the carbon footprint. So from one place to another place for getting the pizza, you are taking helicopter. So that is you understand. Objective is to evaluate the total environmental impact of product or service, to reduce the resource consumption and to reduce environmental pollution, to compare environmental performance of different products or technologies, to support the sustainable product design and manufacturing. So the product design should be sustainable, the manufacturing should be sustainable. So you have to make things sustainable, that is very, very important. And to help the industries and policy maker to take environmental responsible decision. So you can only decide on the basis of sustainability. As I told you that if you want to eat pizza, so you should see that okay, when I'm bringing it from the shop and transporting it, so whether it is sustainable or not, should it be, I mean, is it environmentally very unsustainable or what? So cradle to grave approach means evaluates the environmental impact throughout life cycle of the product. So it is like raw material extraction, material processing, manufacturing, transportation, distribution, product use, repair and maintenance, recycling or reuse, and final disposal. See, these are the stages. So all these are life cycle stages which you have to be aware. So remember this question in the exam, question will come whether it is a part of LCA or not. Yes, distribution from wholesale, from manufacturer to wholesale supplier to retailer, retailer to customer. So that is a distribution, is a part of that. Product use also, whenever you are using, you are leaving the footprint. Repair and maintenance is also part of that. Even recycling and reuse is a part of that. So this all comes in life cycle assessment. So these are the stages of life cycle assessment. So remember, this is very important. Is recycling or reuse also part of life cycle assessment? Answer is yes, it is also part of that, because maybe you are recycling it and then started reusing. The moment you started reusing, again there is a carbon footprint involved. So remember all these components. So what is the difference, or what is life cycle assessment and how it is linked to environmental impact assessment? So there is a small difference. Life cycle assessment focuses on product, process and service. It evaluates the environmental impact throughout the life cycle. Upstream, downstream activities, I mean from raw material to product to its wastage, it comes everything. So you consider it in totality. So entire cycle, life cycle is involved. So you cover for entire life cycle of a product. That is what you do. Like cycle assessment is done. It helps in comparing the products and technology. So you are comparing various kind of products and the technologies. That is what you are doing. So when you do life cycle assessment, so why you do life cycle assessment is to know whether this product, service or process is sustainable or not. I will go for that process, I will go for that product which is environmentally sustainable, which has less carbon footprinting. That is the meaning of it. Environmental impact assessment, on the other hand, it focuses on a project. Environment impact assessment is done for projects, category A project, category B project. So we see that when project is to be made, what is going to happen? It is, we are not talking about product, service or process, we are talking about project. And it evaluates the site specific environmental impact, where the project, you are going to start a project at this place. So what is the site basically problem coming at that site? Construction and operational impacts basically are studied of the project. Environmental clearance is required from the authority, and LCA basically helps in environmental impact assessment, but it cannot replace. Both are different things. I mean, to some extent, you are talking about the project. What will be the environmental impact of the project? You are talking about a product. So when you use the product, when you make the product, when you dispose of the product, what is the environmental impact? Something like that. So both are linked somewhere, but both are different also. Now I'll tell you the phases. So there is ISO 14040, 14044. You remember these two. So the phases as per this, 4 phases are: first is goal and scope. First stage is fixing the goal or scope or purpose. So what are the various functional units? What are the boundaries? What is the intended user of study? Who is going to use it? So you fix all these things. You fix the goal, you fix the scope of your definition. Scope, what is the definition of this, what is the scope of this, that you define. So life cycle assessment, first phase is you define the scope, you define the goal of a particular life cycle assessment process. So what is the purpose of study, why you want to do it, what is the scope of this, what you will be doing with this, what actually is the application of that. Second comes life cycle inventory. This is very important. Life cycle inventory becomes input for environment impact assessment also. So decision when is to be taken whether this project is sustainable or not. For that, the input will come from this particular part. Input comes from inventory. So it is a data collection stage. So Input are raw material, energy, water, fuel. Output is what will be emission, solid waste, greenhouse gases. So to make a product, what is required? Like nowadays you are talking about ethanol blended petrol. It is said that for to make the ethanol E20, E30, lot of water consumption is required. So you are making use a lot of water. Data centers are being used nowadays. So data centers, let's say they are they are giving you some kind of an AI may you use data center. So for that, lot of energy is required, water is required. So this is the input, and output is like when you are burning the fuel, you are getting air pollution. So input, output. So entire what is input, what is output. So this becomes the foundation for environment impact assessment. Then life cycle assessment, impact assessment. So now we convert the inventory data into environmental impact categories. As I was telling you, like when I'm making ethanol, so ethanol बनाने के लिए input is water, but how much is the environmental impact of that? So what is the carbon footprint of each? What is the ozone depletion, acidification, human toxicity? So you tell about the impact. These all are impact. Pollution is impact. Resource depletion, inefficient utilization of the resource is the impact. So you study about the impact also. How serious the impacts are. Then comes interpretation. This is the final stage. Interpretation is the final stage where you analyze the result, identify what are the hotspots, compare the alternatives, what are the alternatives available, recommend what is the improvement, and reduce the environmental impacts. So this is the fourth stage. This is the interpretation stage. So what is the sequence, friends? The sequence is this: goal, scope definition, life cycle inventory, life cycle impact assessment, interpretation. So what are the main phases of LCA? So as I told you, this is iterative phases. Iterative phase means one after another keeps on going. Goal and scope definition, purpose of this thing, then inventory, data collection, then impact assessment, and then interpretation. So as I told, these are the four stages. International standards, remember this: 14040, 14044. What are the various types of life cycle assessments? Attributional, consequential, and social life cycle assessment. Attributional: existing production system. It measures the environmental impact of existing production system. Already this system is existing. What is the impact? Current resource use and emission. Present. So actually it talks about present, existing or present. That is how you have to remember it. Something which is talking about present or existing is attributional. Consequential means future. Future. So present, attributional, consequential, future. Consequence. When if you do it, what is going to happen? And social life cycle means it's a socio-economic impact, how it is going to affect consumer, local communities, complement environmental LCA. So environmental impact studies in LCA, these are typically what you evaluate: climate change, carbon footprint, air pollution, water pollution. So these all things you normally study. These are the normal things which you normally go for it. What is the importance of that? Environmental damaging stages you get to know, sustainable product design you make, pollution and waste generation is reduced, efficient use of resources, you support the sustainable or green manufacturing, you find out better alternatives, you help industries in making environmental responsible decision. So these are some of the things, and that's a revision for you. And friends, most important is the questions. Please do all the questions. Lot of questions are there, like statement conclusion type questions are provided to you, then 4 answer choices kind of questions. Principle and framework for LCA is in 14040. So requirement and guidelines for conducting LCA 14044. So one question will clarify the things for you. Inventory of what? Energy, material input, emission, waste, not considered within the scope of standard environment life cycle. So financial profitability is not part of that. We have done the similar question which has come. What is the major objective? compare and complete environmental impact of product and service. Statement is given, framework, guidelines, both the statements are correct. So friends, keep doing it, revise all this, and I'm very sure if you do all the questions, LCA topic will be ready for you. Simple question will come which you will be in position to solve. Thank you.